Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the Star Wars The Black Series Obi-Wan Kenobi Wandering Jedi version from the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. It's good to know that these figures aren't actually taking a year to release when the initial pre-orders drop, because a lot of that is just placeholder dates at this point. I ordered this, I think, when the show dropped on Amazon, back in May. And then it updated a couple weeks ago to be released like last week when I finally got it. So it's good to know it's not actually taking that long. So the Obi-Wan show, I have mixed feelings on, because there's some stuff I really like about it. Ewan McGregor returning, as well as Hayden Christensen, is one thing. And then there's other stuff in the show that I wasn't a big fan of. But overall, pretty solid show. Just giving you a 360 of the packaging here, just to save a little bit of time when I'm doing the intro here, while, I'm still waiting to get a new laptop. The only image on the packaging I do want to show you is just the barcode on the bottom, just in case you need it. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. Okay, here's the figure out of the packaging, and first impressions. I think it's a pretty good figure. I do think that the overall sculpt and paint that they've done with the figure as a whole is a little lackluster, and the price is getting steep for a lot of these figures here. But it does come with a lot of stuff, and it is still a pretty solid figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So here is the lightsaber he comes with. Now, the camera, I don't know, is going to pick it up too well, but I actually think they did a pretty decent job of making this lightsaber look kind of worn out and dirty, kind of like it did in the show. Mostly, in person, when you're looking here, it's like they added just ever so slight gray dry brushing to make this look worn out here. I feel like it's either how the plastic's molded or whatever they do with the paint apps. Silver looks just a tiny bit worn too, so it's not super prominent. I think it could be better and more visible, but there are definitely some smaller paint apps in some of these areas, and I think that this overall looks really good. Like the darker gray or silver up here, it looks nice. That gold, the brighter silver. Of course, they have this translucent blue saber piece. That pops out really easily. And initially, this hole on the side here for weapon storage looks too small. Just finagle it just a little bit, and it should pop right in there. It actually fits in there really nicely, too. We also have the blaster pistol. I think that this ends up looking really nicely. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Hopefully it's not too grainy. I really like how this turned out. I can't tell you what model blaster this is. Maybe I need to back up a little bit. Can't tell you what model blaster this is, but I do think they did a good job with translating that to figure form. It has a darker silver metallic paint application throughout the whole. Now this top part here, where the trigger, the barrel, this is what would be the sight, all that looks great. Sometimes they just give us a plain black mold or a gray mold for guns. This time they actually put in the work on the paint apps. I think that's great. You have this black handle there, looking really nice. This also has weapon storage. That popped out a little easily. Just rotate, lift up this flap a little bit that likes to get in the way. Push that in there. Let me see if this will even close. Sometimes these don't want to close because the gun actually gets in the way. So that's what does want to close, so that's good. Last but certainly not least, I think they did a really good job with how they did Lola. Like, this thing it has really nice small intricate parts. All these pieces right here are on slight ball joints, so they don't move around too well, but you can get some articulation out of that, so that is really sick. The paint apps of like the dark red and the like off-white and that black eye, all that looks really great. And you also have like the inner workings where the gray is, that little hole right there. If you see on the front, I don't know what that was the packaging that just made that loud noise. You have this little tiny buzzsaw piece here. The idea, if I can do this, I don't know if I could stick this in all the way, but you can, pop that in there, and it looks like it's doing that. So that's sick. I like that. That's what the bottom looks like with those legs. I really like this. Again, I really like how they did this. I'm really impressed, honestly. There's even some inner workings like around here and here. Now it looks like there's a little bit of black splotch where the red is supposed to be. So that's a little unfortunate. But these legs, you know, you should be careful with these. But you can grab them, just ever so slightly move them like that. The idea is you can use this translucent piece right here. I'll pop that in there to make it look like Lola is floating. I may not do the greatest job at doing this right now. But then the idea, also these hands are really tight. The idea is to pop it into Obi-Wan's hands or his fingers. It should get in there. But yeah, you see like this, how this groove is. It's supposed to get in there with the finger. Get in there. There we go. It's the best I can do for now. Rotate that around. And you have him holding Lola. So again, I'm not doing the greatest job with it right now, but that's still really cool that they did a lot just for Lola too. Man, every time I finish a review lately, I forget to do the measurements. So we are looking at what I believe is like 15 centimeters, maybe a little under. That's going to be about like right at, if not just a little under 6 inches tall. So, you know, editing limitations, I can't properly show off a likeness with Ewan McGregor with this figure. I want to say it's not awful. I see a little bit of Ewan in there, but also, you know, in some angles I could see him more, but like face on, I feel like it's a little off. So it's a little unfortunate, but I think that, you know, what they did with the hair is also pretty nice. I wish they had a little bit more paint apps in the actual hair, but the sculpting's really good overall in that. Now that face sculpt and that head sculpt, it does have some wrinkles on the forehead. Nice digital printing on there. A pretty dark wash going on in the, well, it's not too dark, but some parts it looks a little darker, like around the mouth. That dark wash in the facial hair. The ears are just nicely sculpted. In person, it looks like the skin tone on the face is matching pretty well with what we have on the neck and what is painted on the exposed part of the chest. So I'm going to back out a little bit, and you can see that this figure comes with a really nice soft goods cloak. You know, you can pull, it doesn't have bendy wires in there, so it doesn't want to sit down too much, but you know, you finagle it a little bit and you can get it to have a, you know, a little bit of a hood. It's not a perfect system. If it had bendy wires in there, it'd be much better. But because of that, it's also removable. I do like when they do give us soft goods. I will admit that. They don't give us, I feel like they haven't given us soft goods in a bit. So I'm glad that we at least have, you know, a Jedi cloak. Not really cloak, just a Wanderer cloak. And it's in this really nice light gray fabric, which has some pretty good stitching overall. Most of the clumping of the stitching is on the inside, so you can trim that up if you really wanted to. Just carefully, of course. And then this is what he looks like with the exposed arms. So let's get back to focus here. What I want to mention is that it picks it up especially on camera, but in person, you know, you have this more matte, whatever this like off-white shirt is with the nice wrinkles, very big wrinkles on the front. But then you have the glossy arms in the same color, and sometimes it doesn't look, you know, that great. It looks a little distracting how glossy that is in contrast to how matte this is. This is a little bit more glossier. This slightly like a skirt piece. It's mostly just a low-hanging shirt. But yeah, I wish that this was a little bit more matte. I mean, if you have the cloak on, it's going to cover the arms. It's not going to matter. There are some nice wrinkles going on throughout here, and you get wrinkles actually on the sculpted parts of the elbows. But there really are no paint apps here on the arms, all throughout the arms. And it's mostly just molded in this color too right here. It's not that it looks bad. I just wish maybe it had a little bit of like some sand or dirt on it. Would look nice. It does have some nice wrinkles sculpted in there. And these hands, what I want to mention about these hands first, we'll get to it in a second, but they're really stiff. But, you know, they have, you know, they can hold the accessories just fine is what I was trying to say. I don't know what I hiccuped on saying that. But the detailing is fine, you know. I can barely see fingernails in there. Same for these hands. The belt's pretty nice. We do have some silver on the belt. It's actually a couple notches of silver right there, as well as that buckle. It's mostly just this one tone for the brown. I wish they had a little bit of like a wash in there to bring it and, you know, make it look a little bit more like dirty or more like leather. But it still looks good. You have that nice pocket right there. I can zoom in a little bit. And then I zoom in and then the focus is going to go out of whack. And then you have the holster there, which also, I actually think it has it has the same paint that I showed off earlier. But it does have a little bit of extra sculpting in there to make it look like more like leather. So I dig that. I wish, what was going on here was a little bit more consistent here. But I do like, that working system there that I showed off earlier. And you get that hole on the side. Not much else. I already talked about this, where it's like this, feels like it's snow. So this is a one piece with this, and then this is a separate piece. This is a soft plastic too. This is a soft, pretty soft plastic, so articulation hopefully shouldn't be too hindered. This is what the back looks like. Nice wrinkles. You lift this up a little bit, and you can get an idea of what textures we have on the pants. They definitely have some type of nice texture here with a little bit of wrinkling going on, but it's mostly molded in this brown color. Doesn't look bad though. Nice seam lines on the outer thighs. Looks like there's something going on. You see where like the put is? Like whatever is going on. I feel paint there. I don't know what's going on there. So that's a little interesting. I was rubbing his butt, unfortunately, to see what was going on there. We do have the inline seams there on the inner thighs. And they also have, on the back of the knees, sculpting kind of similar to the elbows there. And then, you get, obviously the calves have some sculpting with the wrinkles. But then you get to the boots. Nice wrappings on the top of the boots. Really good paint, actually, around there. And some different ties that are sculpted. And then it's mostly molded in brown. But it looks like different tones of brown. The way, like in person, it's not that bad, but on camera, it looks kind of bad. How different in tones these are. Nice wrinkling though. The actual sculpting of the shoes look nice. They actually kind of look like leather here. That's what the bottom of the feet look like. So, lacking in paint. I wish the head sculpt's a little better. But the overall sculpt isn't bad. Articulation's pretty basic with this figure compared to other Star Wars The Black Series figures. Some people may think it's a little subpar, but the range of motion is still there. We have a ball joint going into the head as well as into the neck. So it swivels here. It does allow for tilting, and then downward actually is pretty decent. Upward is actually really good too. There's a little bit of gappage in the neck, unfortunately, though. We do have butterfly joints. Just be careful with these. I heard it crack, but I don't think I have many problems with this right now. And we do have a arm swivel at the shoulder, and it goes in and out. We have a single joint elbow that gets a little over 90, and it swivels here. Swivel at the wrist, as well as an up and down hinge for both hands. We do have a ball jointed waist, so it swivels forward and back. That's how much back it goes. It's really good, but you do get some gappage. It does look like some of that brown. It looks like there's dirt on here, but I don't know if that's from the brown paint. I wish this was more consistent throughout here if that's supposed to be dirt. Going forward, that's what it looks like. Side to side could be, actually it's not too bad. Legs go outward like that. Could be better because of this piece getting in the way. Back is not terrible. In and out, upper thigh swivel. We also get single jointed knees that get a little over 90 and it swivels here. I'd rather they give us a double joint knee instead of a swivel because that's a little redundant with this. But then we have up and down at the feet and ankle rockers. For size comparisons, you can see just how much the Empire Strikes Back version of Vader towers over both Obi-Wan figures, which both of them are pretty close in height. I think the Clone Wars one might be a tiny bit taller. Far left is the first ever version of Mando in the Black Series line. It's going to be a little bit taller than Obi-Wan. And Marvel Legends usually are pretty bigger in scale compared to Black Series figures. Overall, I am pretty pleased with this figure, I'll admit. I do think the paint and sculpt is a little bit lacking on the figure, but it does have pretty decent articulation in the accessories is where this figure I think really shines. The lightsaber is really nice, the storage for it is too, as well as the pistol. That is a really nice blaster pistol. The fact that we have soft goods that are removable are really nice. And Lola, I'm very happy that you can do a decent amount of stuff with Lola. It's a very fun little piece that this figure comes with. So it's not a perfect figure, but I do think the Black Series team did a really good job overall. I just wish the likeness was a little bit better and, it was a little bit more dirty when it comes to the paint. The price is getting pretty steep for, not just Black Series, but Marvel Legends and other Hasbro products as well. But if I'm being honest, I paid 25 bucks for this, and I do think that was actually a little bit worth it. If 22, definitely. 25 is a little bit high, but I mean, if you can get this for a little under 22 to 20 bucks, hey, go for it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.